Hello everyone, welcome to the Canadian Redneck channel. My name's Dave.
I'm Bailey.
And today we're going to revisit my very first video, 22-250 versus 223. I have a Savage 110 in 22-250, and this is Bailey's Savage Axis in 223. And we have 55 grain pointed soft point for both rifles. They're varmint and predator bullet. The 22-250 package says it runs out at 3,680 feet per second muzzle velocity. The 223 is at 3,240. So the 22-250 has a 440 feet per second advantage over the 223. But I guess the purpose of this test is to see how much difference that makes real world into a block of ballistic gel. Last time I did this test, I underestimated how much gel it would take, and since then I've got a little experience and practice, and we've got a bigger block of ballistics gel, and hopefully we should get a good shot and a good capture and be able to compare the bullets after they're fired and so forth, and the wound channels, etc. So we'll get everything set up, and we'll get the camera angle so you can see, and we'll get started. We have about 18 inches of ballistics gel here. It is two pieces of one molding. It's all the same pour, and I split it in half. Gives us about 6 inches depth to shoot at, and so it should all be an even consistency all the way through. Both rifles have equal barrel length, so it should be a fair and even test. So we'll start out with the 223 and follow it up with the 22-250. We get a full pass through into the second block with a good capture. A little bit of jacket right there, and that transferred so much energy down through the block that it split this piece of plywood and tore the paper up. So we're going to move the paper around a little bit and reset the block. So that was a nice hit, probably in the bottom third of the block on the left hand side. So I'm going to go for the right hand side with the 22-250. Both hits were in about the same area of the block on opposite sides. Both good solid hits. Both open the block up right down out through the bottom of the block. This is the 223 hit. This is the 22-250. The 22-250 opened the block up a little more on the entrance wound. I would have to assume that must be because of the increased speed. And we'll open them up here across the cross section and see. Probably can't see it on the camera very well, but you can see a real good sized permanent cavity on both sides. You can see that, yeah, it opened that right up across. Quite a radial line on that one there, but what? Got a, yeah, probably a 4.5 inch permanent cavity, and yeah, 3.5 to 4 inch permanent cavity for the 223. I can see here, yeah, on both sides they're both shedding lead by this point in the block. That's, yeah, around 4.5, about 4.5 inches in on both sides of the blocks. The projectiles are both defragmenting and leaving lead bits in the block, quite a lot of lead bits in the block. They're really shaking those projectiles up. And right on out through the back. Now, out the back of the block, they're both pretty small, clean holes. We'll open those wound tracks up. Okay, there's the 223 track. So by, what is that? At about 8 inches, that permanent cavity is getting down pretty close to the size of the bullet. Now with the 22-250, it's actually even shorter. It's about 6.5 inches. The 22-250 seemed to have shed its energy a lot sooner in the block. Well, not a lot sooner, about 1.5 inches. Alright, so let's see what our penetration's at here. So about 11 inches total penetration. And there is the jacket of the bullet wrapped right back, and just a little piece of the base of the round of the 223. I would expect that the 22-250 is going to look very much like the same thing. And again, yep, about exactly the same penetration. And you can see in the block, it's very little more than the size of the bullet going through the wound channel by this point. And there's a little bit less of the base left in this projectile. And I mean, they should be the same composition. They're both 55 grain pointed soft point 22 caliber centerfire rounds, both Winchester. They should be exactly the same composition. I'd have to say that because of the added velocity in the 22-250, it shed more of the bullet. But I mean, in a varmint round, that's really what you're looking for, so you don't have excessive over-penetration. In this particular test, it looks like the 22-250 dumped its energy into the block a little faster than the 223, probably because of the increased velocity of the round. The 223 carried the permanent cavity a little bit further, but overall, the 22-250 had a bigger permanent cavity to begin with. From that test, I'd have to give a slight edge to the 22-250. Especially out over 300 meters, 300 yards. The 22-250 is a little flatter shooting than the 223. I hope you found the video helpful and useful, and I guess you can look at the evidence and draw your own conclusions. As always, like, subscribe, share. Have a great day.